Origins of the Sea Queen. The depths of the ocean hold secrets darker than any abyss on land. Beneath the crushing weight of water, where light becomes nothing but a distant memory, ancient powers have dwelled since time immemorial. Among them, none commanded more respect than Amphitrite, the original queen of the seas. Long before sailors whispered prayers to calm the waters, before fishermen offered sacrifices for bountiful catches, she existed, born of primordial forces that shaped our world. As a daughter of Nereus, the old man of the sea, and Doris, a sea nymph, Amphitrite inherited the very essence of the ocean itself. Her birth wasn't recorded in mortal scrolls, for it predated human history, emerging in an age when gods and titans contested the heavens and earth. What few understand about Amphitrite is that her lineage places her among the oldest deities of the Greek pantheon, older even than many Olympians who would later dominate Greek worship. As a Nereid, one of 50 sisters who personified the Mediterranean's gentle, nurturing aspects, she initially represented everything beautiful about the sea. The ancient Greeks depicted her with flowing azure hair that mimicked ocean waves, eyes that shifted color like the sea at different depths, and a voice that could either soothe like gentle tides or terrify like a tempest. Unlike later goddesses who were worshipped primarily for beauty or craft, Amphitrite commanded respect for her fundamental connection to an element essential for life itself. Before she became queen through marriage, she was already royalty by birth, a detail conveniently obscured by later myths that reduced her to merely Poseidon's consort. The courtship between Poseidon and Amphitrite was no romantic fairy tale. It began as a pursuit bordering on obsession. When Poseidon first glimpsed Amphitrite dancing with her sisters near the island of Naxos, his desire erupted like an underwater volcano. But Amphitrite, unlike many who immediately succumbed to an Olympian's advances, fled. She disappeared into the deepest ocean trenches, places even gods hesitated to tread. For months, Poseidon searched the seven seas, his rage intensifying with each passing day, causing violent storms that wrecked countless ships and coastal villages. The sea god's temperament was as volatile as the waters he commanded, and his wounded pride only fueled his determination to possess what had dared elude him. The turning point came through an unexpected mediator, Delphinus, a clever dolphin who understood both the sea god's desire and the sea goddess's reluctance. Rather than continuing the pursuit through force, Delphinus approached Amphitrite in her hidden sanctuary and spoke of how Poseidon's love, though ferocious, was genuine. He described how the sea god had commissioned pearl palaces and coral gardens in anticipation of her arrival, how he promised to share his dominion equally rather than claim her as a trophy. Moved by these gestures and weary of exile, Amphitrite finally consented to meet with Poseidon. Their wedding transformed the underwater realm. Bioluminescent creatures illuminated the depths. Whales sang harmonies that still echo in today's ocean songs, and the currents themselves danced around the divine couple. As a reward for his successful mediation, Poseidon immortalized Delphinus among the stars as the constellation dolphin, a reminder that sometimes diplomacy succeeds where force fails. Powers of the ocean. Few appreciate the true extent of Amphitrite's powers, which rivaled and sometimes exceeded those of her more famous husband. While Poseidon commanded earthquakes and storms, creating dramatic displays of godly might, Amphitrite's dominion lay in the subtler but equally powerful aspects of the seas. She could speak to every creature from the smallest plankton to the mightiest leviathan, controlling their movements to create currents that guided or misguided ships according to her whims. The tides themselves responded to her emotions. Legends tell of certain coastlines experiencing unusual tidal patterns, when the Sea Queen was particularly pleased or displeased with local worshippers. Perhaps most impressively, Amphitrite could manipulate water at its molecular level, changing its salinity, temperature, or even state, transforming portions of the sea into mist to conceal her movements or hardening water momentarily to walk upon it as though it were land. What made Amphitrite truly formidable was her intimate knowledge of the sea's deepest mysteries. In her realm existed creatures unknown to humans even today, beings that dwelled in trenches so deep that the pressure would crush mortal bones to dust in seconds. These entities, neither fish nor mammal, but something altogether more ancient, served as her eyes and ears throughout the global ocean. When sailors claimed to see impossible shapes beneath their keels or hear singing that drove men to madness, they were encountering fragments of Amphitrite's hidden court. She also commanded the ocean's healing properties, understanding which algae could cure diseases land doctors deemed fatal, which corals could mend broken bones, which sea flowers could extend life beyond natural spans. These gifts she occasionally bestowed upon mortals who showed exceptional reverence to the sea, which explains why certain ancient coastal populations enjoyed unusual longevity and resistance to illness, mysteries that modern science still struggles to explain. The royal family of the sea. The marriage of Poseidon and Amphitrite produced heirs who would become legendary figures in their own right, each embodying different aspects of their vast oceanic domain. Their most famous offspring, Triton, inherited his father's imposing presence and his mother's communication abilities. With the upper body of a man and the lower body of a fish, Triton served as herald of the sea, his conch shell trumpet able to calm or incite the waves with a single blast. Less known are their daughters, Rhode, for whom the island of Rhodes was named, and Bent the Sicon, whose name means wave of the deep. Each controlled different regions of the Mediterranean, serving as extensions of their parents' authority. The family resided primarily in a golden palace beneath the Aegean Sea, constructed from coral pearl and an opalescent material unknown on land, lit by bioluminescent creatures that cast an ethereal blue glow throughout the royal chambers. Amphitrite's wrath and mercy. Like the ocean itself, Amphitrite's temperament contained multitudes, capable of nurturing life or extinguishing it with equal ease. When merciful, she guided lost ships safely to harbor during violent storms, calmed waters to allow successful fishing expeditions during lean seasons, and healed those suffering from mysterious ailments when they were brought to her temples along the coastline. Sailors who showed proper respect by pouring the first drops of wine into the sea before drinking often found themselves beneficiaries of favorable winds and currents. Coastal villagers who maintained clean beaches and returned trapped sea creatures to the water might discover rare shells of immense value washed ashore the following morning. Her benevolence could manifest in subtle ways, dreams revealing the locations of sunken treasures, intuitive knowledge of when to avoid certain shipping routes, or the sudden abundance of fish in previously barren waters. But those who disrespected the ocean or its inhabitants discovered a darker aspect of the Sea Queen's nature. Amphitrite's wrath, unlike Poseidon's immediate and explosive anger, manifested as a gradual, inescapable doom. Ships that dumped waste into sacred waters might find their hulls mysteriously infested with barnacles that slowly degraded the wood until it failed catastrophically miles from shore. Fishermen who harvested recklessly, taking more than they needed or killing sea creatures for sport, would find their nets empty for seasons afterward, no matter how favorable the conditions. Rivalries with other goddesses. In the competitive arena of divine politics, Amphitrite navigated treacherous waters with remarkable skill, Her primary rival wasn't another sea deity, but rather Hera, queen of Olympus, who viewed Amphitrite's complete authority over her realm with poorly concealed envy. While Zeus constantly faced challenges and power struggles among the Olympians, Poseidon and Amphitrite maintained relatively unchallenged dominion over their watery kingdom. This power dynamic created tension whenever the sea monarchs attended gatherings on Mount Olympus, with Hera often attempting to seat Amphitrite in positions that subtly diminished her status. Amphitrite countered these slights not with direct confrontation, but by controlling the weather patterns around Olympus during important ceremonies, sending gentle mists that enhanced the beauty of events she supported, or uncomfortable humidity that left everyone's garments clinging unflatteringly when she felt disrespected. Perhaps the most intricate relationship existed between Amphitrite and Aphrodite, who emerged from sea foam and maintained certain claims over aspects of the ocean. While never openly hostile, their interaction resembled a chess match played across centuries, with coastal romance, naval victories, and the beauty of ocean sunsets as pieces on their game board. Amphitrite allowed Aphrodite her symbolic connections to the sea, but ensured the love goddess understood that beneath the surface, in the true depths where light failed and pressure crushed, an older power held absolute sway, a reminder that beauty may captivate, but the fundamental forces of nature ultimately command respect.